Perfect. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for the next iteration of our bucket course. I think this is Abe Goldstien, a man who needs no introduction to many of you. We're so excited to have him here today to hear a little of his amazing music. And I know all of you are excited to be here, and I'm so happy we have a packed house. I'm Lydia Egger. I'm the Community Partnerships Assistant. And so I work with Sarah Smith at our office, and so she's not here today, but I'm going to be helping out with bucket courses from now on. So can we give a big round of applause to Abe?
I have to tell a cute story first. So this morning over coffee at home, my wife says, "What are you doing today?" "I'm going to Grinnell to talk to a group of senior citizens, or whatever we're called these days." And she goes, "Oh," and I'm talking about Yiddish music. She goes, "Oh, well, those will be your people then." And I go, "I'm not sure how many are Jewish, Jackie." And she goes, "No, I'm talking about old people." Because I spend every day at a grade school as a volunteer. And I usually come home with these stories that I say something to kids and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So last week I was working with some fifth graders. They were doing a paper about Muhammad Ali. And I said to them, "You know, there's a postage stamp with Muhammad Ali's face on it now. I'll bring some tomorrow for you." And they look at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah, what is a postage stamp? Then to dig the hole deeper, I say, "You know, when he was alive, he once said he always wanted his face on a stamp because that's the only way he'd ever get licked." True story. And they look at me again like, "Licked?" I have to explain, they used to have to lick stamps, which they didn't know what a stamp was. So it's nice to be with my own people. So today I'm going to talk about Yiddish music. Now that's not Jewish music. Jewish is a religion, Yiddish is the culture, specifically from Eastern Europe. And the other day I do work with the Iowa State Fair. I used to do their advertising for 20 years, and they still call me every summer. And I'm working with the marketing director and the general manager and some other people because they want to rename. There's a hall there where you can go in and buy trinkets and trash. Okay? And the marketing manager, who's not Jewish, says, "Yeah, people go there to get tchotchkes." You know what tchotchkes are? Trinkets and trash, right? And I go, "Mindy, who grew up and lives in Earlham, Iowa, okay, not a highly Jewish population there. Mindy, that's a Yiddish word." I didn't know that. So we use Yiddish words all the time. Tchotchkes, schlep. I once did a campaign for Metro Waste Authority in Des Moines where they were going to do one garbage can. You put everything in one, so you didn't have to sort it. You know, you didn't have to carry 3 or 4 tarts out to the curb. And I wanted to do the slogan, "No sort, no mess, no schlep." Everybody know what schlep is? It's a Yiddish word for haul. They agreed on doing it, but they made me change the word schlep to carry, which made no sense at all to me. And then a couple weeks later, I'm at a function, and the director of that organization approaches me and goes, "You know, we really like that slogan because of the 3 words. We can put that on lots of tchotchkes." You know, wait a minute, you can use the word tchotchke and I can't use the word schlep? So Yiddish is just part of the American culture, and I'm learning every once in a while words I use that came from Yiddish, like I just learned the word glitch, computer glitch. Glitch is Yiddish for mistake. So there's tons of words. So today I'm talking about Yiddish music, though. So something that I was probably destined to play, and I'll explain why here. Give me a minute, I have a knee replacement. I have to strategize. You've been there, you have to strategize how you sit down and how you get up. And if you can get up. The kids at the school love it. They usually ask me to sit in these really small chairs so they can watch me try to get up. So, as I said, I was kind of destined to play because the first song I can ever remember hearing was a song my grandmother would sing to me when I was probably as soon as I was born, she was singing it to me. And it's a lullaby, a Yiddish lullaby. I'll play it for you. That's the first song I ever remember hearing. The name of it is called Eine Noonie. Non-syllable words, they mean nothing. And the only reason it's called Eine Noonie is because the lyrics, you can sing along if you want to. Let me get back. Eine Noo, Eine Noo, Eine Noo, Eine Noo. I'm not a singer. First song I can ever remember hearing in my life was a Yiddish song. Now, the amazing thing is, the only people that know that song are people in my family. I've played it forever. I wrote an article about the song. I've asked every rabbi I know, where does that song come from? Is it part of a service somewhere? Is it one brother says, oh, that's a song they used to sing before Yom Kippur services? And I don't remember that. Another brother, oh, that's a song from here. All we can figure out is it's a song from the village, the shtetl, that my grandmother came from in Poland. And it was probably just a melody that existed within that community that got passed down and passed down, because no one has ever said, oh yeah, my mother used to sing that to me. So I'm a proud new grandfather, and that's the first song my granddaughter will hear, or has heard. Right? So, destined to play Yiddish music. Every Sunday morning at home, I grew up in Rochester, New York, 10 o'clock, we had to turn on the radio to listen to the Jewish hour. An hour of Yiddish music on the radio, hosted by a guy named Morris Fogel that talked with an Eastern European accent. Okay? And he played all these old Yiddish tunes. And it was like every Sunday morning, he had to sit at the kitchen table listening to Morris Fogel in the Jewish hour. After him, there was another guy that did the Italian hour, that I swear was the same announcer but just changed his accent. After that was the Polish hour, which I swear was the same guy with a different accent. But that's where I heard a lot of these old Yiddish tunes, or Yiddish American tunes. But the stories behind the tunes are just as great as the tune itself. So this is one you might recognize, and then I'll tell you the story behind it. By me you are pretty. But the history of the song is even better than the song itself. Originally written in the 1920s for a Yiddish musical. You know, there were all these Yiddish theaters on the Lower East Side. And it was a musical called I Would If I Could. And that was the main song from I Would If I Could. The story goes, whether it's true or not, who knows, but it's a great story. The story goes that a woman was in the audience and fell in love with that song. Okay? She happened to be the daughter of the people that owned Grossinger's, which was a big resort in the Catskill Mountains, where all the Jews went for the summer. There were a couple black entertainers working at Grossinger's, and she went back and she taught them how to sing this song. Okay? That's middle 20s. Middle 1930s, these two black guys are singing the song in a club in Harlem, and Sammy Kahn, the songwriter, hears the song and goes, you know, if I change the melody a little bit and maybe jazz it up a little bit more, I might have a hit for the Andrews Sisters. So the Andrews Sisters recorded by Mayor Duchesne, and it became a hit around the country. It became a hit around the world. It was even popular in Germany until they found out it was written by a Jew for a Jewish musical, but that's a whole other story. So that's how we get by Mayor Duchesne. Okay? And then there were there were all these great Yiddish musicals, because of course when the immigrants came to the Lower East Side, first of all, they couldn't speak English. Second of all, they couldn't afford Broadway, so there were all these musicals in the Jewish theater district. So this is my favorite one. Comes from a musical called Yiddle mit a Fiddle. Yiddle is little girl, mit, with, fiddle. And it tells the story, you probably know the story from the Barbra Streisand movie Yentl. It's about the same theme. This little girl wants to play in a Yiddish music band, okay? She wants to play the violin. Except, in Orthodox Jewish law, men and women cannot be on the stage together. So I have a band that plays Yiddish music, and if we're in an Orthodox setting, we used to have a woman vocalist. Either she would be on the stage or she would be on the floor and we would be on the stage. Just one of those Orthodox Jewish laws, who knows why, okay? So she can't play with this band, so she decides, I'll disguise myself like a man. I'll cut my hair short, I'll wear men's clothing, and she does that, she auditions, and she gets a job with the band. Everything's working great, she's doing exactly what she wants to do, until she falls in love with the clarinet player. Yeah, it's never the accordion player. Damn clarinet players. She goes back to her mother because she doesn't know what to do. I mean, clarinet player thinks she's one of the guys. She can't say she's not a guy because she'll lose her job, right? She goes to her mother and says, classic Yiddish word, oi! Oi vey, right? Like, oh, oi mama ben ich verliebt. Oh mother, am I in love? What should I do? And this is a song that accompanied that scene. Just some of the songs I had to endure every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, Morris Vogel on the Jewish Hour. The ironic thing about it, the call letters of that radio station were W-H-A-M. Think about the last three letters, H-A-M. That's where this nice Jewish boy learned all this Yiddish music, listening to ham radio. So, if that wasn't enough, because I grew up in an Orthodox home, you know, you have to go to services every holiday, every Friday, every Saturday. So I started hearing all these Hebrew melodies that were the same melodies a lot of the people that wrote these Yiddish tunes heard when they were growing up. And you can hear a lot of the same harmonies and chord structures in these. So this is a tune that's sang when the Torah, the scrolls, are put away. The congregation rises and sings a song called Eitz Chaim. So that's Hebrew for tree of life. So I heard this every Saturday morning of my life until I left home. Because I played it today, I think that exempts me from going to services this weekend. I'll talk to the rabbi about it, see if he agrees. So that, and then, you know, at the end of the services, or sometimes the cantor, the person that would direct all the singing, would just go into these wordless melodies that who knows where they came from. And they're called nigun, N-I-G-U-N, and they're just wordless chants. So, Aini Nuni, the lullaby, we think might have been a nigun that some cantor sang in that little village in the temple. That somehow my grandmother decided that's going to be the lullaby she sings to her children, and now her grandchildren, and now her great-great-great-grandchildren. So this is a typical nigun. It's in the books of Naguns, it's just called Nagun number 1, because there's like hundreds of them. Oh, hang on, I'm sorry. Come on, fingers. Here we go. To that tune, written here on this music, I D D D die, D D die die die, I D D D I D D D. And they're just these wordless melodies. So I heard all that music as a little kid in the temple around the Jewish hour, and my grandmother singing me lullabies. And then 13 was my bar mitzvah, right? And you usually get a great gift on your bar mitzvah. I wanted a 10-speed bicycle. I got an accordion. This is 1963. The Beatles are on Ed Sullivan. Let me tell you, playing the accordion did not impress the girls in my 7th grade class at number 8 school. Their mothers and grandmothers were impressed. Yeah. Not only did I get an accordion, my mother gave me a book of Yiddish music that I still have the music from. So this is my mother's favorite waltz. I have to play it every time I practice. She heard it twice. So for all you people who speak Yiddish, name of that tune is Glick du bist gekommen zu spät. Got it? All right, what's it mean?
What comes to you too late?
Who said that? All right, you speak Yiddish?
Not really. I heard it growing up.
All right, so Glick du bist gekommen zu spät. Typical Yiddish sentiment. Happiness? You came a little too late, is the name of that song. Now, what's ironic about that is all the great composers of the Great American Songbook, Irving Berlin, George Gershwin, Oscar and Hammerstein, Rogers and Hart, Hammerstein, Harold Arlen, Sammy Kahn, they were all Jews, okay? And if you look at the lyrics, there's this thing in the Jewish Yiddish culture where you mix happiness and sadness together. So that one's happiness, came a little too late. That's Yiddish, happiness and sadness, all a Yiddish word, smushed together. Okay? So Harold Arlen wrote, Jerome Kern wrote the tune A Fine Romance. You know that tune? A Fine Romance with No Kisses? Happiness and sadness, all in one. He also wrote Every Time We Say Goodbye, it changes from major, happiness, to minor, sadness. If you look at the lyrics, a lot of those great tunes have that Yiddish sensibility in the lyrics of happiness and sadness all together. So that was in the book. This other one that was in the book was a tune my grandfather would sing. So on Friday nights in an Orthodox home, it's a Sabbath, you aren't allowed to turn on lights, you aren't allowed to watch TV, you aren't allowed to listen to radio. Any act of creation is forbidden, okay, because that's the day God rested. So after the meal, my grandfather would sing these songs he remembered. And this is one he would sing with all of his grandchildren called Unaus the Rebbe Zingt, and now the rabbi sings. And it was a song that would keep going because it's whenever the rabbi does something, all the students would want to do the same thing. Okay? So it's a Nas Rebbe Zingt, Nas Rebbe Zingt, Ale Chassid, Ale something Hasidim, all the students would want to do it. So can you all go yabba-dabba-da? Like you're singing it. Okay. Try again, sing it. Okay, great. Abba tune is perfect for a rabbi. So when I point you, you're going to do it because the first time through the tune the rabbi sings, so then all the students sing. laugh. So this time when I point to you, laugh. The next one, he eats, he essence. So this time sound like you're eating.
Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum.
So I do this song with grade school. I do this song with grade school kids, and I ask them for things their teachers say. And they're always like, be quiet, you know, sit still, hands on yours, this. I finally ask, well, do they ever say anything nice? That usually takes the kids a while to figure that out. I had one kid say, well, she could say. So one of them is always be quiet, right? So I teach them how to say be quiet in Yiddish. Anybody know how to say be quiet in Yiddish?
No.
Shot still. All right, so this time shot still.
Shot still. Shot still. Shot still. Shot still.
And then I teach them the most important Yiddish phrases. I mean, I do this kids in like small rural schools. I mean, all over Iowa. So I always say, okay, when the teacher gives you a problem that's really confusing, you just put your hand on your forehead and you go, okay, all right, here we go.
Oy vey.
Down through the forehead.
Oy vey.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Oy vey.
Well, when I was a kid, this song could go on and on Friday night, and, you know, it didn't matter that you couldn't watch TV or listen to the radio, because we would do, oh, Zadie, which is grandfather in Yiddish. Zadie, how about the rabbi jumps up from the chair, and we would all jump up. Hey, how about the rabbi sneezes, and we would all sneeze. And eventually, my Zadie, my grandfather, would say, what? Have I worn down the battery on that one already? My grandfather would say, I don't know, the rabbi's getting tired. How about this time he goes to sleep? So this time, what it sounds like when the rabbi's sleeping. Here we go. You're being nice to the rabbi. There we go. Or I should have said what I sounded like when the rabbi was giving a speech. That was a song in that music book. Another song in that music book that I've played since I was a kid that I just found out a unique piece of history about that I didn't know existed. So there was a candy store on the Lower East Side called Phil Silvershine's Candy Store. Yeah, you ever go there? And he came up with this candy in the 1930s. It was kind of this chunky little piece of candy that had raisins and almonds in it. Anybody know what candy that was that he invented? Chunky. was invented in this little chocolate store on the Lower East Side. The original recipe had raisins and almonds in it. Okay? Eventually it got bought out by, I think Nestle bought it out, and almonds were too expensive, so they started putting peanuts in instead. And then it got bought out again by someone who decided,
It's too close to your mouth.
oh, too close, who decided, well, peanuts were too expensive, so we'll start putting peanuts and other cheaper nuts in it as well. But the original owner of the store sponsored a show on the Yiddish radio station in New York City. And they used this song for the theme of the show. And it's a Jewish lullaby, I'm not sure when it was written, called Rishinkas mit Mandlin, raisins and almonds. And that was the theme of the show, and he would promote his chunky candy bars that you could get at Silver Shine's chocolate store. A beautiful tune. Hang on, let me get this so I can actually read it. Those of you who are music people have now realized that all Yiddish music is in minor keys, right? So I usually say, well, that's because we had it tougher than other people. Matter of fact, I once had to play with my band that plays Yiddish music in the Quad Cities, and the trumpet player and drummer couldn't make it. So I called the union over there, the musicians union. Is there a trumpet player there that's kind of versatile enough to play this kind of music? And they said, oh yeah, Manny Lopez. So I called Manny Lopez, and Manny, have you ever played a bar mitzvah? No. Have you ever played a quinceanera? Where a Hispanic girl, I think, is 16 years old, there's a big part. Oh yeah, we do lots of quinceanera, okay. Same music, except ours is all in a minor key. Okay, I can do that. Would you happen to know a drummer? Well, my son, Manuel, is a drummer. Okay? So there's Abe Goldstien doing Yiddish music with Manny Lopez and Manuel Lopez. And at the break, he goes to me, you're right, it's just like my music, except yours is all in a minor key. I said, I told you, we just had it worse than the Hispanic people, you know? So the end of the story was, I pay him at the end, and I don't do this for a living, and I can't remember what I tell people I would pay him, and he walks out, and he comes back about 10 minutes later, and I'm packing up. He goes, Abe, the check, there's a mistake on it. And I go, well, what's the deal? Well, you told me $150, and you paid me $100. And I jokingly said, well, that's just a Jewish thing to do. And he looks at me and goes, you know, we have a Hispanic tradition. We don't leave the gig until we look at the check. So, but yeah, it's all in minor keys. So when I was in high school, I got a job playing with a band, and they weren't Jewish, but somehow they got all the jobs at Jewish weddings. Has anybody ever been to a Jewish wedding? All right, so what did they do at the end of the Jewish wedding?
Dance the hora.
Oh yeah, but besides that, they have to break a glass, right? Anybody know why? Okay, so I asked a couple of rabbis why. I asked 3 and I got 18 different answers. One is, when you break a piece of glass, it shatters in so many pieces, you can't put that glass back together again. So that's symbolic of your life is changing. The life you had, you can't have again. You have to come up with something new, okay? That makes sense. The Hasidic rabbi, so the most Orthodox rabbi in town, when I asked him, he says, that's the last time you're ever going to be able to put your foot down. The real reason, it's supposed to remind everyone of the worst day in Jewish history, the destruction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. All right, so now what sense does that make? The last thing at the wedding, you're going to remind people of the worst day in Jewish history? And of course the rabbis would say, yeah, because even on your happiest day, people need to remember all the tumult, all the sorrows, the troubles that your family went through to get you to this point in time. So as soon as the glass is broken, the band has to play a tune that was played at my wedding, at my parents' wedding, at my grandparents' wedding, probably at my great-grandparents' wedding, called Chassan Kala Mazel Tov. Bride and groom, congratulations. So as soon as they hear the glass break, they had to play this song so everyone could stand up and do the Hobra. That song. In the old days in Europe, there were songs you would play when the in-laws left the wedding. There were songs you play when the rabbi entered. There were all these specific songs that these other guys would know. So nowadays, when the bride dances with her father, you usually end up playing this one. Sunset, right? So I'm meeting with a young couple a couple of years ago getting married, and I said, oh, you probably want a song when you dance with your father. Yeah. Well, why don't I play Sunrise Sunset? Now they play that at every Jewish wedding. So all right, I'll find something else to play. I can't remember what I played. We play the wedding, and during the reception, she comes up to me and goes, can you guys play Hava Nagila? No. Like they don't play that at every Jewish wedding? Matter of fact, in New York, there's musicians that play Yiddish music, and they get jobs to play bar mitzvahs and Jewish weddings. And you know what they call Hava Nagila? If the band leader has to call the tune, he'll look at the band in a disgruntled look and go, the H tune. It's simply called the H tune. All right, someone told me I'm running out of time, so we'll do a couple more. This one is my brush with Yiddish music history. Most of the great American composers, even though they were Jewish, the only one that wasn't was Cole Porter, who once said, imagine how far I would have gone if I was born on the Lower East Side. Oh, no, Carmichael, okay, you're right. There was one guy named Jack Yellen. He wrote American songs, but he wrote Yiddish songs. He was the only one in that generation. So he wrote Happy Days Are Here Again, FDR's campaign song. He wrote 5'2", Eyes of Blue. He wrote a couple other things. And then he wrote this one for his mother called the Yiddish Mama. Since I was a kid. It was in that book. And I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, my parents were visiting me, and I had a job, and I played that tune, and afterwards my mother goes, you know, that was written by my second cousin? Jack Yellen was my mother's second cousin by marriage. But the reason why we as kids never heard of him, he divorced his wife, who was the first cousin, right? And so he was shunned from the family. He lived 50 miles away from us in Buffalo, New York. Never got the chance to meet him or hear anything about him. All right, a couple more, and then we'll call it. Here's one you can sing along to. Everybody.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. And buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never come back or root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
All right, what does that have to do with Jews, right? I mean, I can count the number of famous Jewish baseball players on one of my hands, all right?
Yep.
Story behind that tune, I've read in a couple places. Jewish immigrant comes to America, he reads in the Forward, which was a Yiddish paper in New York, that if you're new to America, go to a baseball game. It's the most American thing you can do. And it talks about how to play the game. He happens to be a songwriter, and he writes the lyrics and the melody. To Nemetzi Reisen the ball game. Take me out to the ball game in Yiddish. Okay? And that's how we get Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I've read it in multiple citations. 35 years after he wrote the tune, he went to his first baseball game. Albert von Tilser. Want to hear the crazier part? Judy Garland's uncle. That's who wrote Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Okay? The weirdest one yet is what would almost became our national anthem, God Bless America, Irving Berlin. Okay? So he was called, I can't remember the year, to write a patriotic song for Kate Smith. And he was given a week to do it. And he said, "Ay vey, a week to write a song for Kate Smith on national radio? You're crazy." And he struggled with what to do. Well, in his youth, Irving Berlin was a singing waiter in the Yiddish musical district, Yiddish theater district. And there was a popular song at the time called Moish with His Nose leads the band. And if you Google it, it sounds a hell of a lot like God Bless America. So he just liberated a tune he remembered from his kid growing up, rewrote some of the melodies and the harmonies, and that's how we got God Bless America. All right? So we got to end with you singing one, all right? So we're going to do a tune called Zingen a Lid is a Mechaya. To sing is a joy. And this is in Yiddish, okay? So depending on which part of Eastern Europe you're from, it's either I, die, oi, oi, oi. All right, I'll try to sing it and you follow along. There is no key I can sing. That song, actually, I've learned that since I was a kid. I think it was on the Jewish Hour. And now when I go to services at the ultra-Orthodox community, there's a prayer you say, Kaddish, to remember those who passed away. And at the end of it, that melody is written into it. So someone heard that melody from the service and turned it into this great klezmer tune, singing Lid is a Mechaya. All right, time to close up. So any questions? Uh-oh.
I come to you, okay?
Oh.
I heard you say, every time the rabbi sins.
Oh, yeah, well, that would be frequently, too.
That sound.
Yeah.
I don't know this literature, but I heard almost every song you did is done in 3/4 time, waltz time. There's one exception I can think of, which is the Vanagila.
Yeah, well, that's because that's a Hebrew tune.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of this music came from Eastern Europeans, so there's a rich waltz tradition in gypsy music, in German music, in Polish music, so that's, a lot of it ended up being in 3/4. Yeah.
Another question? Someone?
Any other questions? All right.
Abe, I have a question for you, which is, who imparted all this knowledge about Yiddish music and its history?
Just playing it and reading about the history of the songs. They're amazing. Like I say, the history of the tunes is better than the tune itself. So I'll close with a term my mother would tell me when I asked her too many questions, like, why do I have to wear a yarmulke? Why do I have to wear the fringes? Why can't I eat a pork tenderloin? So she would say, gay avec. Try that one.
Yeah, right.
You know what it means? Go away. Gay avec. Thank you. Now you're going to sit and watch me try to get out of the chair, right? I made it.
Well, let's give Abe a big round of applause. Thank you so much. I just want to remind everyone that this Friday, Friday coffee with the college. Tilly Woodward is gonna come talk about her Sparkle Trot and the programming she does with it. And then our next 3 bucket courses are gonna be with Dr. J.R. Paulson, who's gonna do 3 different sessions on the fish that live in the Midwest lakes. So it's gonna be an interesting few weeks. We hope we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for being here.